Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As was previously spoiled by my When I'm Gone reaction, I am here to talk about my favorite tracks of 2021. A few criteria I would like to establish so we know what I consider to be a song of 2021. This is not the favorite songs I first heard in 2021. These are tracks that were only released originally in 2021. No re-recordings, sorry Taylor, unless it's new tracks in the re-recorded albums. No songs that were released in 2020 but were actually in the 2021 album. So no Wow, for instance, and no remixes of songs from 2020. So no Real Groove Initial Talk remix featuring Dua Lipa. That wasn't a new song, that was just a remix of a song released before. Any song released between the 1st of January and the 31st of December is valid to be in this list, so long as it meets the criteria established before by moi. Not every track here, you may know, not every track here was reacted to in the channel. Some of them I listened to by myself, either because I thought you wouldn't like it or I just simply did. I was listening to a playlist and it was there, I listened to it, I loved it. One of my favorite of the year. This ranking isn't really a ranking. I did rank tracks because I love ranking. Some of these positions aren't necessarily what they are, with the exception of the top 3. So anything between 15 and 4 is a mess. They could swap places, maybe not like 15 to 4, but like 15 and 13 or 14 and 12, you know? They could swap places between themselves, but the top 3 is untouchable, at least in 2021. Perhaps 3 years from now, I'm gonna put my top 3 of 2021 in a different place because I discovered new tracks from 2021 that I didn't hear. That's a possibility. That's of course a possibility. But as of right now, the top 3 is the top 3. The rest is just tracks that I really loved and I kinda ranked. But since my taste varies based on my mood, some days they are higher than the others, again, with the exception of the top 3. I think that was good enough an explanation. Let's jump with number 15. Wildflower Wildfire by Lana Del Rey from her studio album Blue Banisters. Now, I know I didn't react to Blue Banisters in this channel, I only listened to Chemtrails Over the Country Club, and I think the main reason why I didn't was because I wasn't a big fan of Chemtrails Over the Country Club as a whole. There were a song here and there that I was really into and I really liked and I thought was really fun to listen to, such as Dance Till We Die. But none of the tracks really lingered on me. They weren't really, you know, it wasn't really normal fucking rock roll. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll just go straight to the point. They weren't really normal fucking rock roll. And I was very upset by that because, you know, same producer, same artist, just 1 year difference? No, 2 years of difference. And, you know, Love Me Like a Woman did sound a lot like something that would be a normal fucking rock roll, so I was imagining the album would go in a similar direction, only it didn't. Because of that, I chose not to listen to Blue Banisters because it was a 1 hour album that if I had to listen to it all and I wouldn't like it the same way I didn't like most of Chemtrails Over the Country Club, I would just start saying shit about the album and I would be bored and it wouldn't be a fun reaction for you, it wouldn't be respectful to her, so I decided not to. And I listened to it by myself in time. I listened to like 4 tracks at once, and what can I say, the album is actually worse than Chemtrails Over the Country Club. I feel like there weren't really any tracks who caught my attention, with the exception of one song, Wildflower Wildfire, which is the one that's here. There is something so gorgeous about this song. It's her delivery, it's the lyrics, perhaps it's the production, or I think really it comes down to her delivery when she goes, baby I burn, burn, burn. That's my favorite part of the song, as well as the last chorus. It really sounds like what I wanted Chemtrails Over the Country Club, and Blue Bannister, and literally every single album of hers after Norman fucking Rockwell to sound like. But it's really a shame that it was only one song in the album, but at least it was good enough to make it to the list. Number 14, Pa Mis Muchachas, Christina Aguilera, Becky G, Nicki Nicole, and Nati Peluso. This one I did react to in the channel. It was a few months ago. It was her comeback to Latin music, and I must say, I was pleasantly surprised by it. However, my biggest problem with it was actually the featurings. There were so many of them, and neither of them were my favorite part of the song. My favorite part of the song was actually Christina's verses, both at the beginning and at the ending. I simply love the bridge and the last part of the song when she just goes whoa, 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 whoa. Amazing, simply outstanding, and I wish we had more of just her in the song, because I feel like she does a very great job at Latin music. She did so in Mi Reflejo back in 2000, she's doing it again now in 2021. That's why I'm ranking it a little lower than I wish it would, but I still feel like when she drops her new upcoming Spanish album, we're gonna have more of that. I still haven't listened to Nada, for instance, and people say Somos Nada, for instance, and people say it's very good. I'm saving it for the album. Hopefully in 2022 she'll be back in our list. Number 13, Let Them Know, Mabel. Another one I didn't react to in this channel. Mabel is an artist that I've known since 2018 when I used to listen to Capital FM in the UK, and it's an artist that I've always had a big interest on based on my experiences listening to her on the radio, but I never actually gotten that into her, and that's probably something that I should do in 2022. And one of the songs that she released this year, and in fact I think it was the only song she released this year, again I'm not a huge fan, I just know it, was Let Them Know. I caught this on a playlist and then I listened to it on the radio, and it's one of the songs that gets better when you listen to on the radio, and it's such a good, fun, upbeat pop song. It's perfect. It summarizes very well the style of pop music that's nowadays, disco inspired 80s 90s nostalgia, all thanks to Dua Lipa, who couldn't make it on this list because she didn't release any new material on 2020, else Levitating would definitely be here. That's a big parenthesis, by the way. That's why Mabel is in this list. I feel like she's a great vocalist, a good songwriter. I don't know if she produces or not. If she does, she's also a great producer, because every track of hers that I know, I like. So yeah, I really should listen to her album, and that's why she's number 12 on our list. Sadly though, this song is a little bit forgettable for me for some reason. For instance, I almost forgot to include this song here if I hadn't listened to it yesterday while I was preparing the list. It's a song that I love, and it's a song that I think is very good, and it's one of my favorites, but for some reason it doesn't really stick in me as much as other tracks like hers, such as Don't Call Me Up, and especially Fine Line, which is my favorite song of hers. And number 12 is Have Mercy by Chloe. Chloe is one half of Chloe and Halle, which is a duo of R&B girls who released an amazing album last year, which was Ungodly Hour. And this year they released the deluxe version of the album, which did contain good tracks like 80/20, but nothing comes close to how good Have Mercy is. I swear, when this song comes on, my ass comes alive. I don't know why, I just keep dancing and twerking, and I don't even twerk. So you can imagine what kind of scene you would see when this song came on and I was next to you. Not pretty, but I still love it. I feel like it's such a fun song. And I don't know if she is having an album, a solo album or not, while Halle is currently recording The Little Mermaid. I don't know if we're having an album. If we do, I hope it's more in this style. And if it's more on this style, I really hope, and I'm very looking forward to listening to her solo project, because Have Mercy is that song for me, and it's such a shame it wasn't a bigger hit, because it should have been. Barely scrapping the top 10 but not getting quite into it is our number 11, Envolver by Anitta. If you're a fan of me, which I hope you are, you know who Anitta is because we reacted to Girl From Rio in this channel. However, that was one of several songs she released this year that weren't good at all. Loco, Toca-me, Faking Love, Girl From Rio, they were all trash and so under everything she can do. And I was legit losing all my hopes of listening to a good track of hers until she decided to drop Envolver in November. And it's everything I always loved about her when she goes international and dives into reggaeton. It's upbeat, it's fun, it's catchy, it has a great choreography. The video is basically the choreography, so I can't say it's a great video, but since it's a great choreography, I might say it has a great video. I don't know, not the main focus of this video, but it is great. This song is what I want her upcoming album to sound like, and not like every other song she released this year. Number 10 is Need Someone by Zara Larsson. Poster Girl was one of the first albums I listened to in this channel. It came out in March 2021 and it contained quite a few tracks that could have made it here, but I chose Need Someone both because I couldn't choose Wow, else this list would have to be rearranged, because Wow would probably be a number 1 to be fair, because it had come out in 2020. So I had to pick the best song that was original and I chose Need Someone. This song is amazing, it has such a nice vibe. You know, you can close your eyes, you can picture what she's singing. There's some disco 80s elements to it. There's that piano, which is just something else. Her vocals sound good. There isn't really a single bad thing about this song. It doesn't contain a boring feature like other songs in the album do. And it's just very, very good and very perfect. The reason why it's only 10 is because every other track here I actually like better. So you can't, if I can't say a bad thing about number 10, expect me to not be able to say a single bad thing for the next 9 songs in the list. Number 9, Zappizoom, Pablo Vittar. I know you probably may not know him. He's a Brazilian artist, he's a drag queen, and he released his 4th studio album this year titled Batidão Tropical, something like tropical upbeat. That's a very loose translation, but I hope you can understand what it sounds like. It sounds like heaven in a tropical album. To be fair, there isn't a single song in this album that I can say is bad. It's one of my favorite albums of 2021. If I had to do a ranking album, this would definitely be in the top 5 or something, because it's really amazing. And my favorite song is Zappizoom. This album contains some elements of a genre where in the area where he grew up, which is northeastern Brazil, so it contains elements of axé, forró, brega, and other rhythms that are characteristic to that region. So you would think that in order for you to enjoy it, you would have to be from that area. But that's not actually true. I grew up in the South. There's nothing even remotely close to the sound he emulates in this album. And I still loved it. And I feel like the best example of song in that is probably Zappizoom, which is in my list. I can't tell you how many times I listened to this song, but it's definitely over 100 ever since it released, because it's just so fucking good. It's a beat, it makes you wanna dance, it transports you to that place and that time, and it's so, his vocals as well, you know, he's a great singer, and it's a shame that the world doesn't know him more, because it really should. If you don't know, please stop what you're doing right now. You can come back to my video later, they will still be here. Listen to Zappizoom, and if you can, listen to the entirety of his album Batidão Tropical. It's amazing. It's mind-blowing, really. I urge you to do so. Even if you don't know Portuguese, you don't have to, because the beat speaks for itself and it's gonna make you wanna dance. Number 8 is When I'm Gone by Katy Perry and Alesso. the newest addition to our list. When I'm Gone was released just 2 days ago as I'm recording this video, and when I heard it I said it was gonna make it to my best of the year, and it has. I've listened to it about 12 times since it came out. That was 6 times a day, and it's just great. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. Katy Perry decided to come back to the style that I personally think she should have never left, which is dance. I feel like it's her style 100%. I really wish we have more of that in her next album, the successor of Smile, because to be fair, Smile wasn't really my favorite effort of hers. In fact, I think it was probably my least favorite album of hers. If not, then it's just slightly above One of the Boys, but it's just not. However, When I'm Gone is that bitch. The only reason why I didn't rank it lower is because it's so short, you know, the time, only 2 days, that I don't think it's fair to put it on upper tracks in this list. If it wasn't because of that, it would probably have made it to the top 5. Because it's that good. Number 7 is Telepathia by Kali Uchis. One of the albums, and one of the artists in fact, that I had never heard of, that I heard this year, was Kali Uchis. And I was very impressed and somewhat surprised by Sin Miedo del Amor y Otros Demonios, which was her album that she released this year. There were quite a few tracks that could have made it to this list, such as La Luna Enamorada y Fue Mejor, but I chose to go with Telepathia because it's a song that I have yet to get bored of, and it was one of the first songs that I liked in this album. In fact, I feel like out of the original 6 tracks that I liked, the only ones I still listen to on a daily basis are Telepathia and Limón y Sal. I'm thinking Julieta Venegas. Aguardiente y Limón. Nothing to do with Limón y Sal. And between those two, it is my honest favor. I could have put Fue Mejor here because it's a song that I really like as well. Maybe a little more than Telepathia, but to be fair, I would have to breach another rule and put 2 tracks of the same album, but I didn't want to do that. So I'll just go with Telepathia, but it could be Fue Mejor. They both are in the same spot. I love them both. They're both great, and they're definitely one of the best things I listened to in 2021, hence why they're on this list. Number 6, Kiss of Life, Kylie Minogue and Jessie Ware. The best thing I did in 2021 when it comes to music was hands down listening to Kylie's discography. Not only did it make my channel grow, but I also felt personal growth by discovering and listening to songs that I didn't know before, or that I knew and didn't know I knew, that were so mind-blowingly great that if this list was the best songs that I first heard in 2021, the top 15 would probably be all Kylie's. Songs such as Confiding Me, Better the Devil You Know, Dangerous Game, Your Disco Needs You, It's No Secret, Telltale Signs, and Wow all would have made a single list, and other tracks of course. I'm not saying all of them, else this video would be just that, as I said. However, since we are being limited to new songs in 2021, there were a few tracks of hers that we could pick, but I chose Kiss of Life. Though Second to Midnight was good, and at a first listen it didn't really linger on me, and Can't Stop Writing Songs About You grows every time I listen to, and could have made it to the list, I chose Kiss of Life because it was an instant love, and it also features another artist that did songs this year, which was Jessie Ware. Unfortunately, none of the tracks that Jessie Ware put out this year were, you know, I don't want to say good enough. They were good. They were just, in comparison to the other songs in this list, they weren't there. You know, Kiss of Life is there. That's why I chose Kiss of Life and not Can't Stop Writing Songs About You, because I want to acknowledge what Jessie Ware did this year as well as what Kylie did this year. And what they did together was definitely one of the best songs of 2021. That's why it's here. I don't regret putting it here. It is one of my favorite songs of 2021, and it's so nice that they collabed. It's a collaboration I wanted, but I didn't know I needed until I listened to it, and now I need to listen to it every single day. Opening our top 5 is Bossa Nosa by Manu Gavassi. That's another one of the artists that you probably don't know because I didn't react to in this channel. She's a Brazilian artist that's very famous for participating in Big Brother Brazil 2020. She released the song last year of her upcoming studio album that wasn't in the album and now decided to drop the album. The album as a whole is very nice because it breaks from the type of pop music that you would expect to hear in Brazil. It's more on an European style. It reminds me a lot of the works of Cléa Vincent, for instance, which is a French singer, and she does collaborate with a couple of French singers, so maybe it was intentional, this kind of more European, 2020, more underground production that I'm really a huge fan of. And again, there are quite a bit of songs that could have made it to the list, such as Tédio and Eu Nunca Fui Tão Sozinha Assim, but Bossa Nosa is just a whole different experience. Not only does she mess with Bossa Nova, which is a very characteristic and arguably the most Brazilian sound out there, but the lyrics really make it for me. This one, unlike Zappizoom, I can't tell you, oh, if you don't know Portuguese, go listen to it. You'll have to understand Portuguese. Even if you read the lyrics, you have to be Brazilian, or at least really know Brazilian culture and history and the political crisis and things that are happening in Brazil right now to be in the best experience to listen to this song, because the lyrics are what made it for me. If I made this list based solely on lyrics, then Bossa Nosa would definitely be at number 1. But since it's the entire thing, there are other tracks that I like more than Bossa Nosa, but Bossa Nosa is definitely up there, and I would recommend you to listen to the album, and I would actually recommend you to listen to this song as well. Even if you don't quite understand it, you might still enjoy it, and the lyrics might give you some clarifications, because I feel like though it's very appealing to Brazilians and again to our political and social and economical situation at the moment, it's also kind of universal, some of the things she says. I'm sure if you're in the US or in the UK, New Zealand, Australia, you also may have experienced some of the things she was saying. Number 4, Happier Than Ever, Billie Eilish. Much like Blue Bannisters, I chose not to listen to and react to in this channel any of the tracks in Happier Than Ever, the album, because I was a huge fan of Billie Eilish with Don't Smile At Me. But I didn't like When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go, with the exception of a few tracks. I Love You, Wish You Were Gay, Listen Before I Go. Those were really fun, but the entire album wasn't it for me, and just as Blue Bannisters, I was afraid that if I listened to Happier Than Ever here, I would not like it, because again, it was a long album and I'm not a fan of recording a video just to say bad things about a certain song or an artist or an album. It's not my style to roast. This is not a roasting channel, it's a reaction channel. Yes, the reaction may be negative, but if I have a preconceived notion that it's gonna be negative, is it really a reaction, or am I just, emulating feelings that I already had towards it? I would be biased to listen to it. That's why, such as I did with Blue Bannisters, I listened to the album by myself, and much like Blue Bannisters, the album is bad as a whole. I didn't like any of the tracks, with the exception of Happier Than Ever. This song, this fucking song, does things to me that I never thought a song would. The way it makes me wanna sing, it makes me wanna scream, it makes me wanna curse everybody, how much passion there is. And of course, we can't talk about the song without talking about the switch, can we, in production between the slow first minute and the rock and roll crazy like last 2 minutes of it. We can't, because the song is structured this way, and if it weren't structured this way, I wouldn't have liked it as much, because it's the rudeness and the ruthlessness between the parts of the song that make it my fourth favorite song of the year. Number 3, To Be Loved, Adele. I was gonna listen to 30 in this channel. The only reason why I didn't was because I was sick and I didn't have the voice to record a reaction. So I chose not to, and I'm a huge Adele fan. I couldn't wait, so I listened to the album by myself. And it is probably my second favorite of hers. 21 is still the best in my opinion, but 30 is a great album. And To Be Loved, I can't listen to this song without crying. There's so much emotion in her voice, and the lyrics, the situation she describes. It's hard for me as a gay person to not take it to my side, you know, because if you listen to the lyrics with that perspective, it hits differently. I'm sure it wasn't meant that way, but art is always something that's subjective. It depends on the person who's admiring it, looking at it, consuming it, listening to it, no matter what form of art. This is one of these things for me. And that's why To Be Loved opens our top 3, because of how brilliant a song and how great she sounds this track is. Number 2, I Bet You Think About Me, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift was busy in 2021. She released 2 albums with new tracks, and there were a few new tracks that could have made it to this list, especially in Fearless, but I didn't want to put more than 1 album per artist because that would be unfair since she was the only artist in this list that released 2 albums in 2021. Well, apart from Lana Del Rey, of course, but since I didn't like Chemtrails, it would have never made it to this list anyway. Fearless would have, with That's When. Putting that aside, I Bet You Think About Me is great. I love the featuring. I feel like Chris Stapleton adds so much to the song. I know he's just backing vocals, but he's a great backing vocal. The video is amazing, directed by Blake Lively. She gave us everything we wanted with Red. Everything she didn't give us with Fearless, she gave with Red. And I'm so happy that I was here to listen to it, because I Bet You Think About Me is one of my favorite country songs of hers, and she's got half her catalog just filled with country songs and great country songs. But I Bet You Think About Me is the best. I listened to it a lot since the album came out. It's amazing. It's my second favorite song of the year, by far, hands down. Number 2, again? Yes, again, it's a tie. The Oscars can do it, so why can't I? Big, Rita Ora and David Guetta. I feel like every single track in Rita Ora and Eamon Beck's EP, Bang, could have made it to this list. Big, Bang Bang, The One, and Mood. All of them were great. I listened to each of them at least 100 times, but not one of them made me feel like Big did. Blame it on the city how I'm ballin'. Blame it on the city how I'm ballin'. I had this very line stuck in my head for over a month, and I listened to this on repeat every day for at least over a month. I must have listened to this track at least 200 times since the beginning of the year. I saw that on my Last FM. It was one of my most listened to songs in 2021 because it's that good. I love him on Beck. He's a great DJ, a great producer. David Guetta as well. They teamed up with Rita Ora and made this incredible song that's Big. I was struggling to see where I would put this song in this list because so many other tracks were great and they all deserved their placement, and I didn't want to take any of them out. But a top 16 is really weird. I wanted a top 15. And Big truly did deserve top 3, so I decided to put it on a tie with I Bet You Think About Me. They are very different, but they are equally important and equally great for me, in my opinion. they are amazing, that's why they're number 2. But not one of them comes to the first spot. Ladies and gentlemen, roll the drums. For our number 1 song of 2021 is Test Drive, Ariana Grande. This may seem underwhelming by you guys considering other tracks that were in this list, but Test Drive is my favorite Ariana Grande song of all time. It's my favorite song of the year. It's the best track in positions by a huge mile. This is one of the biggest wastes of the year, of her entire career, not to make this a single. The song is only 2 minutes. At first that was a problem for me, but now I love it and I appreciate it. I listened to this song, let me open Last FM, 203 times. It only loses the top first and 2 spots to Spotlight by Jessie Ware and What's Your Pleasure by Jessie Ware, but those aren't from 2021, so I didn't include them here. There's something about Test Drive. It's catchy, the production is great, it's messy, but it's intentional because it sounds like the traffic is jammed. It's brilliant. She sounds great even though it's like 2 minutes and something. It's hard for me to explain because I just feel out of myself when I listen to this song. It's a quality, it's the best song of the year. This summarizes everything I'm trying to say here. Just look at the position of the song in my list. It's the best song of the year. Nothing she put out in the past, I don't know, since Dangerous Woman, comes close to what Test Drive is to me, to how I feel when I listen to it, to the quality of the song, in my opinion. But then again, this entire list, it's my favorite songs of 2021. It's not the best songs, it's not the songs that are technically more perfect. No, it's my favorite songs of 2021. If you disagree with one of the placements, if you disagree with what I said, if you think that certain track should be ranked lower or higher, that's because it's your favorite songs. If you would like to include another song, please, the comments are free. I would love to hear your opinions on my top 15. Just be respectful because it's my list. And if I'm doing this video, it's because I made up my mind in including these lists here in the placements that they are. They may change, yes, but then again, if they do, I'm changing them. Just be respectful. Let's have a nice conversation. I love talking about this kind of things, but please let us all be respectful. I'll be. I hope you are too. That was it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great new year. If it's already new year in your country, I know I have a huge follower base on New Zealand and Australia, then happy new year. If not, then when you hear this, happy new year for when the new year comes wherever you live. Here it's coming in 11 hours, nope, 13 hours from now. So yeah, if you've got any other equipment recommendations, please tell me. I'll be thrilled to react to them, as I always am. I do hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye, have a great new year, enjoy the holidays,